Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Luke, your pain and symptoms recovery coach. I'm out and about again today. I quite like making these videos outside. It's just, I find it easier to talk about these kind of things just when I'm walking. It just seems to come out a little bit easier than just sitting at home in front of a camera. So today I wanted to make a video about the first thought you have in the morning. I remember when I was going through the absolute worst of it, especially in the early stages actually, that I'd wake up and my first thought would be to check my symptoms and then to just remind myself like, oh, I'm living this nightmare again. And then I would check my symptoms straight away. If it was something that I was trying to find out more about in terms of like diagnosis, I'd search online, I would test things out, I would just do all those the Haushuber 5 Fs, the focusing, trying to fix, fixating, and all of the mistakes really. And it's so easily done, especially first thing in the morning, because it's your first reaction. It's the first thing you do when you wake up, is to sort of remind yourself where you are. Like, it's the first thing anyone does in the morning when they think, where am I, who am I, what am I doing today? And especially when something dominates your life that much, like a chronic symptom, any pain, then that's the first thing your brain's going to go to. It's the first thing you've got to think of. It's the first thing you've got to check. So one massive thing in my recovery was changing this first thought, and just like reacting to symptoms without fear, kind of in like a more neutral way. That's the sort of way to approach this, is because you're not going to be able to control the first thought, the very first thing you think of when you wake up, because it's the first thing you do. It's almost before you come around and start being conscious. So what it is, it's the next thought, and it's the reaction to that thought you have. So in the same way as you react to a pang of pain coming, or a trigger causing a symptom for you, like eating something and it causing a symptom or an adverse reaction, you react to it the same way. First of all, without fear, and then observe it, and then teach your brain that it's safe and that there's nothing wrong with you. So there's a few things that we can do to make a new habit in the morning, because that's essentially what it is when you wake up and you check yourself and you check your symptoms. It's a habit that's learnt by the brain. So the one thing we don't want to be doing is lying in bed and even just watching TV, because that's something your brain's not engaged in. Your subconscious will be thinking about your symptoms. Even your conscious will keep thinking about your symptoms and checking. So we want to be doing something that we're engaged in, so something like journaling, and or maybe just something like a hobby as well, something you get a bit of a dopamine hit from improving at, and that your brain just be fully engaged in. It's working in a positive way, and it doesn't need to think about the symptoms, and it doesn't need to worry about the symptoms. You're safe to do this task, and it's a good thing. It's a positive thing. So that's one thing. So journaling or having a hobby, something you can really focus on and improve at. You're building new neural pathways as well. So that is essentially brain retraining. The other thing then, if you can, is to get up, get out of bed, get washed, get dressed, and move on with your day. You don't want to be sitting in bed, because eventually your brain will return back to the symptoms. It will return back to those thoughts about possibly checking Google or checking the forums, or just sitting there sort of thinking about your life and your future life. That story mode will come on again. So you want to be getting up and moving on with that day, and eventually over a very short amount of time, your brain will learn a new habit. It will form new neural pathways, and it will just understand that when you wake up, the next thing you're going to do is get on with your day. It's not going to be sitting there thinking about your symptoms. It's not going to be sitting there worrying about your symptoms. It's going to be focused on your day ahead, progression, and safety. And that's I get it. It might be a very difficult thing to start off with, but it's something your brain will learn very quickly. So they're the main things. They're very simple, but you're retraining your brain. You're creating a positive trigger by waking up in the morning and immediately moving on to positive things. But I found that really helpful. It was a huge turning point with my recovery when I learned that my early morning thought, my first thought, was about my pain and symptoms, and it set me up for such a bad day. So set yourself up for a good day by changing that first morning thought and your reaction to that first morning thought. But I hope this helps. Let me know in the comments if there's any other subjects you'd like to see me cover. If you're interested in one-on-one sessions, sorry, it's a bike coming past. If you're interested in one-on-one sessions, I'll put a link to my website in the description as well. I really appreciate if you could like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.